Welcome to Simply Stampin' for You's November card class instructions. Today we're going to show you our tutorial on our Delightful Decorations suspension card. So what I'm going to do is start out with Night of Navy cardstock and Ballet Blue cardstock. And we're going to be making our suspension card here first. And so we're going to need to do a little bit of figuring because we want these to line up after we're done doing all of our other things. So what we're going to do is open up our cardstock, and I'm just going to attach just a small bit of adhesive to the top, not enough for it to fully stick, but enough for it to stay into place. And I'm going to be using a 2-inch punch, and I'm going to come in from the side, otherwise you're going to find that you don't have enough room to attach your dental floss to the top or bottom, and I want to leave enough space. So I'm just going to kind of press as hard as I can just to get an indentation on both of those, but once I take them apart separately, I'll know exactly where they will eventually line up together. Okay, so now I can do my individual punching. Very rarely do punches ever go through 2 layers. And now I have a really nice guide as to where that should be punched out. Okay, now that I have this piece done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our white gel pen, and I'm just going to make some dots, and these are actually going to kind of go along well with they're going to go along well with the decoration that I'm choosing from the Delightful Decoration stamp set, the one that has all the dots on it. So I thought this was kind of a nice piece. And this is also a really good thing to do if you don't have any designer paper and you kind of want your cardstock to look a little differently than just regular flip. That was the side that had my adhesive on it. And your dots can be as close together or as far apart as you want them to be. But it just gives your cardstock a different look, which is interesting. Like I said, especially if you don't have any current designer paper, or if you're just looking for a different way to switch up your cards. So, quick and easy. Now, before I attach my 2 pieces of cardstock together, what I want to do is I want to get together all the pieces that are going to be the suspension part. Okay? So what I'm going to have to do is, I'm going to set these 2 things off to the side for right now, and I'm going to take just a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock. I'm going to take one of my Delightful Decorations, and like I said before, this is the one that has the dots on it. So I'm using that, and essentially you're going to need to stamp and punch out 2 of these. I've already done one ahead of time, just so that you can see what I'm doing. So I take that, and then I'm using my Decorations punch, and I'm going to punch this out. And then I'm going to be making just a small little Merry Christmas tag that sits on the top. And I'm going to be using the Merry Christmas sentiment, and that's also from the Delightful Decorations set. And I'm in all of the things, all the stamps that I'm using today, I'm using the Night of Navy ink because I think that really dark color really pops against the different colored papers we're using. And I'm going to punch this out with the 3/4 circle punch. And then I'm going to just pop a quick little dimensional on the back of this so that it gives it a little bit of extra oomph. And I'm going to attach that onto my decoration. Now, like I said before, I should have 2 of those, so I have one already made. And I'm going to need just a small piece of white dental floss, and this is going to help be the suspension portion of your card. On the back of one of your decorations, you're going to need to use some Scotch tape to attach this. It might actually be just a little too big. You're going to need to attach it so that it will stick to your decoration. And you want a little bit of dental floss that sticks up from the top and the bottom, and that's going to attach to the inside of your card. A little more even there. Okay? So then what I'm going to do is I can now attach my front and my back of my decoration. And why I want two pieces is so that when it starts turning and flipping, that there's decoration on both sides. So you can see it's on both sides. So when it turns and flips, then you'll have your decoration will show up on both sides. Now what I'm going to do is bring back my pieces of cardstock, and I want to attach this before I attach my top piece, because I want my top ballet blue cardstock to cover this up. And I want to kind of center it a little bit in the center of the big 2-inch circle that I punched out earlier, because I want it to be able to flow freely and move around freely. I need one little piece of it. So I want to attach this decoration to the top and to the bottom of that 2-inch circle. Make sure it's nice and tight. And that ballet blue cardstock is going to cover this up, so you're never going to see any of that dental floss. Okay, now I'm going to come back, my piece of ballet blue cardstock. I'm going to put some more adhesive on the back now so that it will stick. I'm going to stick some around that hole too, just so it gives it some more strength. And now I can kind of match up those holes that I cut before, because I wanted them to match up so that I'd have a nice border around the edge, and it does. And then the last thing I have to do is to add my sentiment, and I'm actually using a little sentiment from the Christmas Punch set, and it's Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. And I'm going to stamp that into the Night of Navy ink, and just again on a piece of scrap Whisper White cardstock. Shows up really dark. It fades a little bit. And I'm going to use my curly label punch, and I'm going to punch this out. I love punches because they make my life so much easier. You don't have to cut all those things out. And I'm just going to use a couple of dimensionals on the sides here of my sentiment. Peel those up. And then I'm going to just add this little saying right to the bottom corner of my card. And there you have your little decoration that's suspended in your card. Thanks for watching.